Next up, we have local well-known poet Jim Ferguson, who's going to do a short tribute for us and then read some poetry. So thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you. Great pleasure to be here. For some reason, I missed this last year. I don't know how. I was a bit slow to take up Zoom events. I've did quite a few now, but before that, at first I was kind of resistant to the idea of Zoom events because I've seen them in a certain sense as antisocial. But given that we get reduced to no social whatsoever, Zoom events became the only game in town, so to speak. Normally I would go down to the Glasgow Green of the afternoon, have our anarchist picnic, and usually myself and another poet whose name was Rab Fuller Tone would read, but unfortunately Rab died in November last year, the end of last year, which is come as quite a shock to me because I didn't even know that had happened. But Rab was a very good poet and a big supporter of the sort of anarchist Mayday event in Glasgow, and he had a really good style of poetry and recital and everything, very much his own man. And I loved his work and I always looked forward to seeing him every Mayday. And so I just thought I would say I'll dedicate this reading to Rab. The first poem I'm going to do is called We're Not Supposed To. We're not supposed to be feral children, happy to wander the streets of our talents. We're not supposed to walk on the road where the cars go. We're not supposed to talk to the police in the wrong, strong tone. We're not supposed to disrespect millionaires' private property. We're not supposed to tune into the news from Russia today. We're not supposed to get drunk until we're sent to jail. We're not supposed to take control of our beautiful souls. We're not supposed to steal the wigs from balding judges. We're not supposed to appear on Star Trek The Next Generation or Big Bang. We're not supposed to outlive lazy lords who call themselves farmers. We're not supposed to caress our lovers with toil-weary hands. We're not supposed to mark life in seasons, but only in storms. We're not supposed to forget to harvest an overripe crop. We're not supposed to neglect our couscous for tatties and rice. We're not supposed to eat excessive amounts of sugar and spice. We're not supposed to extract our own teeth with a dentist in sight. We're not supposed to migrate to the cities and steal the shit jobs. We're not supposed to use names like Charles or Harry or Grace. We're not supposed to mock the Queen at Holyrood Palace. We're not supposed to mock the Queen at Buckingham Palace. We're not supposed to mock the Queen at Westminster Abbey. We're not supposed to act like we are above ourselves. We're not supposed to remain forever the lower orders. We're not supposed to live long and prosper as part of the infinite natural structure. We're really not supposed to be here any longer, but here we are. Well, that was that. Wee poem about just one thing and another. A wee bit long, right enough. Anyway, I'm going to do another wee kind of sing-songy poem. It's called If I Were Pablo Picasso, or The Porridge Song. If I was Pablo Picasso, I'd be smaller and bolder and Spanish. But turns out I'm taller and Scottish, 'cause huge bowls of porridge I eat. I have porridge at dawn for my breakfast. I have porridge soufflé for my teas. And after a good porridge curry, I go for long walks on my knobbly old knees. If I was Pablo Picasso, I'd have porridge to the end of my days. I would not be lonely or sad, and I'd smile as I go on my way. But I am not Pablo Picasso. I'm just some old dude farting words. I have nothing to say that is royal, and I can't wait to be dancing in mud or burnt to a crisp in a box. Boom, boom. That was that. The porridge song. Don't all go mad. This will be my last wee song. It's called The Song of the Deep Fried Duck. I'll do a wee advert for myself. These all come from this book called Weird Pleasure, which was published about 6 months ago or something like that. I don't know. I had a Zoom launch for it, which was fucking just as weird as fuck. Anyway, it was Weird Pleasure is what it seems to. It's the only kind of pleasure in offer these days. Anyway, this is called Song of the Deep Fried Duck. I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry I could eat a deep fried duck. Deep fried duck. It's my West of Scotland working class poverty narrative. And I hope that you won't think me too pejorative when I say those West of Scotland toffs are much too greedy. With their brats in private schools, they're also needy. While our Wains love white bread and food bank beans, our obese, diabetic future does not gleam. I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry I could eat a deep fried dog. Deep fried dog, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, I could eat a deep fried duck. Deep fried duck, deep fried duck, deep fried duck. That's me done. So thanks very much for listening, and thanks very much for inviting me. Obviously, don't know where I was or how I missed it last year, for which I do apologise. And I would just like to say big respect in my heart and soul and memory is Rab Fuller Tone, for whom that reading was given and dedicated to. So I'll just hand you over to the next person, and everybody have a lovely night. Hail the revolution.
Thanks very much, Jim. That was
You're
brilliant.
welcome.
Thanks for joining us. I'm going to hand over to Morgan now.
Yeah.
As compare, and I'm going to have a little rest.
Man, thanks, Nick. A chov evriha, banachdi la baltna, banachdi la na hebreha. Ta ihe chiol crack agus glue party agin a nacht. Idrona lucht hebra fud na crinja, nadina ta seer agus nadina ta fui glass. On behalf of Industrial Union 630, Industrial Workers of the World, I'm happy to welcome people via Ireland to our joint evening with Scotland, music, crack, and solidarity. And we've already heard a great deal of music. We've already heard some great poetry, and happy to remember Rob Fullerton, who I just met last year. He read a poem about poetry that I wish I had read 30 years ago, or about being a parent, a poem about being a parent. So tonight, my name is Morgan Brannigan, area organiser for IWW Ireland, and I'll be introducing 3 people. And the first one is a fellow worker from Cork, John, who has a story to read. I understand a short story to read for us. So if I can go on, and I think we're actually 3 minutes ahead. I think just to welcome everybody again, wish you a happy May Day, and I'll hand over now to fellow worker John.
Oh, I have to unmute. Hello, this is a short story called The Kindness of Friends. The basis of the story is we have conflicts between religions and between religious and non-religious people, but we have a basic humanity, and if we could unite on our basic humanity to create solidarity, that it would be a better world. Anyway, I'll just read it. Yeah, where is it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was an early cold morning. Marcus Barnes was looking out the window of his office. He was sipping from a cup that contained herbal tea. It was only last month that he switched from strong black coffee to herbal tea. Marcus was preparing mentally for the task at hand. He had to give a lecture in an hour's time. Public speaking always made him nervous. You would think that the experience of lecturing would give him confidence in public speaking, but there was that doubt in the back of his mind that made him nervous. Luckily for Marcus, he didn't show this side of himself to the public. From the outside, Marcus looked like a confident, polished public speaker. Anyway, the herbal tea helped to settle his stomach. Next Sunday morning, Marcus Barnes and his wife Hazel went to Mass. The church they attended was run by their friend Father George Davis. Marcus, George, and Stephen Willis first met at university. Marcus became a lecturer in biology. George studied physics. When he was supposed to start his master's in physics, George decided to become a priest. Stephen is now a lecturer in philosophy. Marcus and George are Catholics. Stephen is an atheist. They would debate about religion, but at the end of the day, they remained friends. But the sermon that George was preaching was an unpleasant surprise for Marcus. In his sermon, George preached that a society without a belief in God will become a lawless and an immoral society. After Mass, Marcus said to George, "Are you saying that you need to have a religion to be moral?" Marcus continued saying, "I can give you examples of religious people who are immoral and atheists who are moral. Our friend Stephen is a good man." George replied that there are exceptions to the rule. "I think what I said is true. It's what I read in the latest theological journal," replied George. Next Wednesday, Marcus and George met up to have a coffee. It was George's day off, and Marcus had no lectures until the afternoon. As they were leaving the cafe, a car was going to hit them. They found out later that the driver had a heart attack and he lost control of the car. Stephen Willis, who was in that part of town, saw what happened. He rushed up to where the car was driving and he pushed George and Marcus out of the way of the car. The car did crash into Stephen, injuring his leg. George and Marcus were unharmed, but they were in shock. Stephen had to remain in hospital as his leg was healing. The driver of the car died when he got the heart attack. George and Marcus went in to visit their friend and to thank him for saving their lives. In the hospital, Marcus couldn't resist reminding George about his sermon last Sunday. Marcus stated, "There is an atheist who out of love saved our lives." Marcus continued, "Maybe religion is about something else. We all have to live in this world anyway." George replied, "Yes, you are right, Marcus. I will have to apologize for my rash judgment in next Sunday's sermon." Stephen said, "I not only saved 2 friends, I saved 2 believers. I must be mad." Stephen winked when he said that statement. They all laughed after that. It was agreed that when Stephen was better, the 3 of them would head out to the pub for a few drinks. The end.
Thanks for that, John. The Kindness of Friends is the name of the story. Are you planning to publish, or do you currently publish anything that you've written?
No, I just I might publish it. No, it's just a short story for it's just a short story I wrote that was a couple of weeks ago in response to some people. There was some people arguing about about religion and morality, and there was some atheist friends that I just wanted to write to say that good people can have different views, I suppose, in this ultimate issue, and that I might publish it. All right. I have.
If you have a website or anything, just even would you put that in the chat?
I think I have it on the website. It's
Mhm.
the website. The problem with the website, it's called irishfabian.wordpress.com. It's called Irish Fabian Plus now because my politics has evolved, as they say, and it's there. And I hope to have a poem there actually tomorrow because I want to write science fiction as well.
Excellent. Will you put that website address into the chat?
Into the chat here, is it?
Yeah. Well, if you put it in, then anybody who wants to access anything further can go there.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
And I hope to have a poem there tomorrow as well.